Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a deep history, of course, behind the rivalry between these two regional powers. And of course, the 1979 Islamic Revolution was a turning point because before that, basically both Iran and Saudi Arabia were defined within the so-called Western Bloc. Both were the US allies. So the religious differences in terms of Iran being a majority Shia country and Saudi Arabia being basically or claiming to be the leader of the Sunni world, those kinds of things were already there, but strategic considerations, most importantly in terms of their relationship with the US, sort of put them in on the same front. But after the Islamic Revolution, of course, and because of the Islamic Republic's sort of policy of exporting the revolution, not only Saudi Arabia, but basically all those Islamic countries neighboring Iran got worried about the prospects. I mean, that sort of narrative of political Islam that Iran was representing. So that was sort of the beginning of the tensions, the way that we've been witnessing recently. And so since then, there have been some sort of on and off in the relationship in terms of, for example, in the 1990s, there was a thaw in relations. At that time, it was late Ayatollah Rafsanjani, then president of Iran, who initiated a better relationship. And, kind of quick flash forward, in 2013, it was just a few months after President Rohani came to power. So he was the guy who was representing diplomacy. And I mean, diplomacy, normalization with the world, not only with neighbors, but more importantly, actually with the West, as it happened in the nuclear deal, basically. Those were the foundations of his foreign policy. So in that context, he also tried to reach out to Arab countries. And there were already talks between Iran and Kuwait, Iran and Saudi Arabia, others. And so here it's important to consider the factional politics in Iran, because one of the reasons that in 2013 the hardliners attacked the Saudi embassy in Tehran and Saudi consulate in Mashhad, it wasn't all driven by, for example, ideological differences, things like that. It was also about sort of hindering the progress in relationship the way that Rohani wanted, and basically depriving Rohani of foreign policy achievements that he could have. And but right before that, we need to also consider that tensions were already on the rise, because in Syria, for example, Iran was siding with the Assad regime. Saudi Arabia was among those who were supporting the opposition. And then after that incident with regard to Saudi diplomatic places, the Yemen war started, and it was basically the Iran-backed Houthis who have been resisting Saudi Arabia. So ideological reasons of the past, strategic reasons of more recent time, all those things, caused a kind of rupture in the relationship as we witnessed. And then it was only since 2-3 years ago, more accurately speaking, 2 years ago, that the two sides started negotiations. The talks were mediated by Baghdad, actually. Okay. And so that was why it was a little bit of a surprise that, China came in out of the blue, and, the agreement was basically concluded and announced in China. So it was kind of compact background, if you may say, for what we've been seeing.